This is hypnotic authenticity. This is a space for inner clarity, where hypnosis meets self-inquiry, where the stories that you carry can become gentle invitations for change. We're going to explore identity, emotional harmony, and authentic living through subtle, mindful approaches and a really, really good sprinkling of hypnosis. So take a slow, deep breath and let's begin.
Hello everybody. I'm going to do a little video today on insecurity. Someone had written on a video that I posted, the video was all about owning your dark side, owning the parts of you which are unpalatable, that you wished other people didn't know about, the parts of you that are taboo. And someone had written in the comments below that they thought I was insecure and I was seeking validation outside of myself. Now, I read that comment to be a judgmental call, right? Now, I don't know if that's true, which in itself is a fascinating thing. The person might just have been writing it down in order to be helpful. It might have just simply been their observations. But I read it to be you're insecure, you're seeking validation outside of yourself. Therefore, you shouldn't be talking about these things on YouTube, right? So, but that's just my interpretation. I don't know if that's the case. And I probably interpreted like that because I ummed and ahed before I put these videos out for quite a number of years, in actual fact, because I did associate the idea of speaking on YouTube as a sort of a call for attention and a way to plaster over your insecurities sort of thing. So that's why I recoiled against the idea for quite some time. I had to square that circle inside of myself before I could do so. And I'm not going to make the video about me. I'm going to make it about insecurities, but obviously I have to say it from my own perspective. So I've said on other videos that I think all emotions are valid, useful, that emotions are neither good nor bad, they just are. They're information, they're feedback. I associate insecurities within that. I think it's part of being human to have insecurities. You might be generally insecure. You might have insecurities in certain aspects of your life. There might be certain aspects of your life where you're really, really secure, but others where you just feel vulnerable, like there are chunks in your armor. But I think it's all right. I think it's all good. But look, as far as I can gauge from my personal experience, your insecurities, your vulnerabilities, are some of the most precious parts of you. It's a little bit like the definition of beauty. What is beauty? What is beautiful? It's the delicate texture within that you don't initially see. For me, okay? The inner beauty, right? Rather than the external beauty. For me, insecurities are what create poetry. Insecurities move people. They lift the level of connection with ourselves. It's like a very soft and delicate and nuanced and sensitive part inside of ourselves. It's a little bit raw. It's a little bit tender. But it's so beautiful. So for me, when you get in touch with your insecurities, when you understand your vulnerabilities, well, then I think you're knowing yourself better. You know, there's no judgment call involved in having insecurities. We're an organism, we're not a mechanism, we're not Dr. Spock. Anybody who says that they are completely secure, I would question that. I think it's just a normal part of being a human being. And I think even when you resolve your insecurities, you nonetheless will find other insecurities. There is no need to prove yourself to other people, right? You can feel manipulation when it comes towards you. But people are community-based creatures, right? Our entire culture has been created by sharing, interacting between individuals. And the most vibrant part of that, in my story at least, comes when people express an element of their vulnerability because it's so relatable. That's what makes it so beautiful. Now, I don't know whether the person that wrote on those comments was judging. Right? I haven't a clue. But I came to the conclusion that ultimately I'm neither right nor wrong. I'm not telling anybody how to live their life. I can't. I haven't a clue. You have all the power. I'm comfortable that you have your own choices. All I can deliver is a sort of an understanding that I've come to that is partly experiential, that is partly from the things that I've seen in other people and partly from the books that I've read. But it doesn't mean it's all relatable to you. But I think what comes out as most relatable are, interestingly, the bits that are vulnerable, the bits that are less secure, because they're touching. And things that are touching, they have an emotional response rather than a mental response. And people are far more likely to respond when they feel something inside of themselves than when they have an intellectual conversation. So, for me, your insecurities are a massive source of creativity. I don't think it's a goal of life, and this is just my personal perspective, but I don't think it's a goal of life to become secure. I think it's more a goal of life to understand thyself. It's a little bit like being a control freak, okay? When you're a control freak, when you're desperately hanging on to control, you have absolutely no control whatsoever, okay? The way that you gain control is by being comfortable with the idea of letting go of control. I think insecurities are something similar, right? The goal is not to become secure. The goal is to know your insecurities, to embrace them, to accept that in actual fact, they're a very beautiful and delicate part of you that holds a lot of truth, a lot of sensitivity, a lot of nuance, a lot of beauty. And kind of weirdly, a bit like control, once you understand that, well, they no longer are insecurities. They're just a facet of you. Like everything is a facet of you. So you end up becoming much more credible inadvertently. So it's the same with this other comment. You know, the other comment was, therefore, you're seeking external validation. I'm not really sure if I'm seeking external validation. We are the average of our peer group. We are a social being. We need social interaction. We need feedback. We incorporate other people's point of view into our thought process. This is how culture is built. This is why we're different to other animals. We have created a culture based upon the sharing of information. And you do that through honest, open interaction. So sharing information and asking for validation and asking for feedback, I don't know. I think they're kind of one and the same. I'm asking for other people's opinions. And I genuinely want to know. Because it's useful. It's really, really useful. Where's the difference? Where's the boundary between asking for information and seeking validation? It comes from the neediness behind the message. All the world's a stage. Every one of us is a performer to one extent or another. And I love being playful and performing and expressing, right? I love it. It's a great thing. Is that requesting validation from outside of yourself, or is that just playing the game of life? I don't know. I think the answer is probably that we're somewhere between black and white. We're in shades of grey. Everything is shades of grey. So whether you want to call it validation or whether you want to call it feedback, I don't mind. But let me know what you think. As far as I'm concerned, your insecurities are brilliant. They are truly beautiful. They are the most soft and gentle and precious parts of yourself. I would not wish to box them inside a strongbox to become completely secure. I'd feel very sad about that, in actual fact. I think the world would be less poetic and less beautiful if that were the case. Isn't that interesting? And that all came from one comment about insecurity. We end up on a voyage of the meaning of life. Anyway, I hope that's useful. Let's see where this goes. If you have any comments, write them down below. Maybe we'll go a bit deeper. All right, take care, bye.
Thank you for listening. If it supported you in some way or helped you to question your inner experience, then follow the show. Personally, I would be really grateful if you might also leave a quick rating. It makes a huge difference in terms of discoverability so that other people who might benefit can find the podcast. If you prefer a visual element, check out Authentic Life Hypnosis on YouTube. And if you're looking for deeper work beyond one-way audio yourself, you're very welcome to reach out. Equally, if you have any questions, I'm here to help. Until next time.